Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality of the best hair, and welcome to Live and Wired, Episode 7, the one where I talk like I am a radio guy who is not very confident in himself.
AKA 30% of radio guys.
Okay, now I gotta pause. Oh God, what is wrong? Oh geez, every time it starts up, then it starts playing on my end because I got the chat up, and then I hear how annoying I am, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, everybody. I am so sorry for that. Anyway, joining today, as always, has Patricia Miranda of Old School Lane.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, that's a good sign. Just saw on Skype that Creepy has just got online. So
hooray!
We can hope that this is going to go a little better. Because, as you might notice, there's a blank space there.
Yes, there is. A blank space that is reserved for Creepy.
But it is live and wired. It is scheduled at 7, and that's how things work in the world of live streams and scheduled live streams. Yeah, I saw on the gaming channel for some reason. I'm like, whenever. I don't know.
Yeah, but nonetheless, we do have a lot of stuff to cover today.
Oh, yeah, lots and lots. Wonder if we should talk to, see what the chat's going on while Creepy makes his way here. Eddie Herder's like, hey, happy to see you, Decker, Patricia, and Creepy. Eddie Herder has not been paying attention.
Let's see. Some people are talking about, like, Black Mirror. Some people are talking about, their hellos. Somebody's Hollow Man says, RIP 99.5, you will be missed. Take it that's a radio station. I don't know where, though, and I don't know what station it is.
Hello, that long-haired creepy guy.
Hey, Creepy.
Hello, Dr. Shado and Patricia Miranda. I am that long-haired creepy guy, and I am late. Late.
Just like 2 minutes, but it's
okay.
like
You're
it's
fine.
alive.
It's appropriate that you are wearing the TMNT shirt since today happens to be the anniversary of the very first movie.
This was totally planned.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, Eddie Herder already said it's nice to see you.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you. Yeah, to give a brief explanation, basically I've been running behind today. I had a ton of stuff to do. And then I was going to sit down and play Final Fantasy XIV with the professional black man. And then all of a sudden I check my phone. I've got like 5 messages. I've got a direct message from Patricia on Twitter. They're all wondering if I'm going to join the live chat. And I'm like, I forgot. I am explaining that I have to go and apologizing. I'm shutting the game down. I'm moving my laptop back over here, away from the PS4. And I'm trying to get everything situated. And then I goof and I don't get signed into Hangouts right away. So I have to do that over again. And now I'm here.
Okay, awesome.
For the last 7 minutes or so, there's been kind of a mad Benny Hill style scramble. Except I didn't have time to stop and put the funny music back on in the background.
That's okay. Yeah, it seems like we've all had a bit of crazy days today. Like Decker was finishing with the new review, Poseidon Rex. He just uploaded the gem video, and I've been hammering down with finishing my last episode of We're in Between, and I just finished doing the Poseidon, the Reflection Q&A. Yeah, I did the Q&A based off of the podcast play that I released 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, today's been crazy already. It's like, wake up, post Poseidon Rex everywhere, then immediately do the live stream on Patreon, then get the Rift done on Patreon because I hadn't gotten that done yet. Now we're on to Live and Wired, and after this, looking like I'm probably going to be streaming on the gaming channel. I have no idea because that's a lot of stuff, and that's the gaming channel is the one channel where I can say, I don't know. So
articulate over there, as ever.
So we have topics for today. Today's episode is Chimps and Chewing Gum.
Yes, and it is very relevant to the stuff that we're going to be talking about. So which one should we start off with, the chimps or the chewing gum?
Like, I'm not even sure how to answer that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know either. I guess we could start with the chimps. This one I actually did click into just a couple of days ago while I was searching for some really interesting news. But I'm sure a lot of you guys remember Planet of the Apes. And Decker did a retrospective review of it a couple of years ago and covering like all of the movies, except the newest one, but I'm sure he'll get to that eventually. But in the meantime, for some people who may know that Rod Serling actually helped with the first draft of the script, and apparently there's going to be a brand new graphic novel coming out in, based off of the original draft that he wrote that never came into the final product. So yeah, from the looks of this picture, it looks more or less like following what the original book was, in which the Ape City is more modern as opposed to like the more
holdover Flintstones set or something.
Exactly, right. Let's see. March 27 marks the 50th anniversary of the first Planet of the Apes feature film, directed by industry veteran Frank Schaffner and starring Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowall, Kim Hunter, and Maurice Evans. The Twilight Zone's iconic Fright Master Robert Serling wrote the initial draft of the Apes screenplay before Michael Wilson was brought in to overhaul some of the plot mechanics and overall tone. And Sterling's version was never produced, but there are talks about a new graphic novel based off of it. And as you can see right here, I guess this is supposed to be like the cover, and there's supposed to be some other pictures as well, as you can see down here that I'm about to scroll down on. But yeah, it should be really interesting. You know, Rod Serling is one of the most influential TV creators of our time doing the Twilight Zone, and so it would be nice to see what his version of Planet of the Apes was.
Mm-hmm.
So what I find a little odd with the article is it goes into I was reading over it, of course, and it goes into great detail about how Rod's version was in a more modern ape society, and I'm thinking, yeah, that was the novel.
Yes.
Is this article ever going to tell me what specifically Rod brought to it? And it's like, no, it's a more modern ape society, and that's how Rod Serling's screenplay was. And like, I understand, but what did Rod bring to it?
I guess he wanted to be more faithful to the original book, and I suppose maybe he wanted to maybe bring some of the more twists and turns, similar to like a Twilight Zone episode.
I mean, that makes sense, because with the original book, it did have some sort of that kind of vibe in it, because the whole thing was framed as a story that was discovered by a couple, like a husband and wife on vacation in space. And they find like this guy's audio logs, as it were, or a book, or what have you. And it's his story of him going and finding this planet of the apes and stuff. And then it kind of like at the end, instead of the big Statue of Liberty there. Sorry for spoiling the ending of Planet of the Apes to everyone who hasn't watched it in the last 50 years.
Who hasn't seen your review?
Want to watch your review, yeah.
Instead of the big Statue of Liberty thing, like, oh my God, it's Earth and stuff, the big oh my God at the end of the novel was, it kind of did a little zoom out of the husband and wife are talking to each other like, do you think this story is real? And they're a couple of chimpanzees, and they're like, no, there's no way a human would be smart enough to actually write. What are you, crazy?
I remember that was the first, your retrospective of your first summer retrospective, in fact, was also at the end. Yeah, was when we did our first crossover. We did Return to the Planet of the Apes and then Playmate of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that so well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Decker does too.
Yeah,
it's
and
earlier. I think
those two reviews were lost for the longest time until you found them like a few years ago.
Yeah, that's one reason why I was like, I've been investing in M discs and just burning hard copies of all of the reviews I've done onto Blu-rays that are supposed to be able to last about 1,000 years. Some say that they'll only actually last a couple hundred, but I say, hey, that's long enough.
But yeah, I'm actually really curious about what Rod Serling wanted to bring into the table of Planet of the Apes. I'm actually also when looking into like people who wrote the original draft of a script and then maybe it just got pushed to the side or something, and then eventually it was adapted. I think that that has happened a handful of times. I think that Clive Barker wrote a graphic novel based off of Hellraiser that was kind of like the true continuation of the first two movies. We have a $5 comment from Vault Gary 377 who says, "Hey Decker, I bought Getting Over It earlier today because I watched you played it. The first level is driving me to madness. Any advice?"
Now,
well, Decker did that. I need to step away for just a second. I know we're live. I apologize. It's kind of an emergency.
Go ahead.
The thing with Getting Over It is the whole thing is one level, but it is so. But unfortunately, once you learn how to get through something, it becomes a lot easier the more times you have to do it. But it's just, you have to get used to the mouse sensitivity that you got it set to. You got to be able to keep your arm moving at all times, pretty much, because when you are hanging on something, when you are jumping, when you are moving, the hammer is going to keep moving on its own, even if you're not giving any kind of input. So you really got to get the feel for it, and even after getting the feel for it, you have to get the exact nature of it. It's just so frustrating, like that big steep hill that you have to be moving fast enough so you're not slipping off, and not moving so fast that you slip off. It is just, you have to get the feel is the trick, I guess. But it is so frustrating, so very frustrating.
Yeah, I think that when you this is before that we even started the live stream, or before we began, you were telling me about the last level and about how it took you like 40 minutes to actually get there when ordinarily it would have taken about a minute.
Yeah, the last little tower, it takes less than a minute to climb that. Boom, done with the game. It took me 40. Because I kept falling off and falling off and falling off and falling off. And yeah, Nicole7891 says about his arm got a good workout. And yeah, my hand was tingling for quite a while after finishing that last stream of Getting Over It, just because I've just the whole time constantly working it.
Yeah. I mean, any PC game, especially that has frustrating controls, can definitely do that. Absolutely. I remember when before I got an actual controller, I had to do my my very first live stream. I had to play through like Rayman Origins and then VVVVVV, and I had to do it with the keyboard, and my fingers were like completely numb because I was doing a 6-hour live stream to help promote the Indiegogo page for the Manic Expression animated movie.
Simon Fisher's added, there is a new version of Getting Over It called Golfing Over It. And yeah, I saw one video that like pop up. It was like Golfing Over It has so many views on Twitch, and like, what in the hell is Golfing Over It? And it is very similar to Getting Over It. You have to get high up on things, and if you fall down, you lose a lot of progress, except instead of being a dude in a pot with a hammer, you are a ball that you whack.
Okay. Wow.
So
is that game where you basically like you try to keep momentum as much as you can, and then when you fall down, you gain like a lot of points or something?
I don't know about with Golfing Over It.
Okay.
I haven't seen too much of it. I just saw some people knocking a ball around and being like, "Frickin' eagle!"
Yeah. We have a question from Chris Durden who says, "I love your videos. Who would win, Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees?"
Well, I would have to side on Jason Voorhees on that one. But then again, I have to see fully the Halloween franchise to really get the full extent of knowledge as to exactly what Michael Myers can and cannot do.
Right.
Because if he was just a dude in a mask, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have survived nearly as many movies.
Pretty much.
I mean,
so.
The Scream guys are just a dude in a mask, but it's never the same guy. It's just the concept that survives.
Yeah, and as for Michael, I mean, he's been stabbed, been set on fire, shot. Yeah, he's pretty much been all over the place. But yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting question about whether he should be a good matchup with Jason Voorhees. I'm not sure. Simon Fisher says it's basically getting over it with a ball that bounces and rolls like a golf ball would. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but I just finished getting over it, and I'm just like, I don't want to go through that again. I want happy games. I want games where I enjoyed like de-stressing with Human Fall Flat. Sure, there were a couple of little kind of challenging parts on the last level that I really wish that I had a second player to help me with. Like if Creepy had Human Fall Flat and PlayStation Plus, we could have played that together, and I could have been like, hey, you hold this stick and I'll stand on this thing over here. And he'd be like, I'm not doing this, and he'd just push me off the cliff. But either way.
That describes some of our filming methods now that I think about it.
We have a 2-pound comment from Toby Kirkby who says, the Halloween of Halloween. Make it so.
I think he's not the first person who's asked for that.
Oh, yeah, there's another comment saying I should do the Halloween franchise. Michael Myers is coming up. This is a big year for Halloween. There's another Halloween coming. We've already mentioned this in a previous Live and Wired.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Yeah.
So I mean, it makes a lot of sense because what was it like? It's the 40th anniversary of the Halloween franchise, and there's a new Halloween movie coming out that's supposed to be like a sort of pseudo reboot of the series with Jamie Lee Curtis coming back. We did discuss about that in a previous episode of Live and Wired. So I guess that's why a lot of people are constantly requesting you to cover those. So yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm sure that at some point you'll get around to it, but as for when, who knows? Anyway, so now that we got the chimps out of the way, I guess we can get the chewing gum announcement out of the way now. So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people know about Duke Nukem and how back in the 90s, it was like this cool PC game with this badass protagonist who said a bunch of one-liners and whatnot. Then there was supposed to be a video game called Duke Nukem Forever that took about almost 15 years, and it pretty much was outdated by the time that it came out, and everybody hated it. So because that was such a huge success, there are talks about a movie, and John Cena is going to play Duke Nukem.
You see, I can see John Cena's face, head shape, bone structure, chin. If you bleach his hair and give him some sunglasses, I can see it.
Yeah, I could see it too. It says right here, in an interview with Cinema Blend, producers Andrew Form and Brad Fuller make no bones about Cena taking on the role. Yeah, that's where we're working with now. He is, yes, we don't have a script yet, but that is confirmed at this point. But if he reads the script and if he doesn't like it, I'm sure there's ways he can pull it off. But right now, here is our guy. So
yeah, there's no script yet. Just John Cena, Duke Nukem movie, no script.
Right? Aren't there tales in Hollywood of horror stories where they found the actor to play the role, but they didn't have a script, and things just kind of went into the toilet?
Yeah, that sounds very similar to the Super Mario Brothers movie, in which they were having so much difficulty with keeping a consistent script that pretty much the actors gave up on memorizing their lines because they knew it was going to change the next week.
Yeah.
How hard is it to remember the lines like, damn, that's the second time those alien bastards shot up my ride?
Right, exactly. Or I'm here to kick ass.
Without John St. John, like, as the voice. Can they do that? Can they actually do that? Can they tell Cena just lip sync, please?
I would actually prefer that. And I mean, like, we know John Cena can ad-lib. He's a wrestler, so.
Yeah, I just hope that it doesn't turn out like the Doom movie where there was like a lot of behind-the-scenes issues and you had Dwayne Johnson in one of his more earlier roles and they were trying to be its own thing, but at the same time be like the video game.
Wasn't Jesse Ventura in that one too? I
think he was. I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway.
You could check. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think so, but I don't know. If he was, it was probably a smaller role.
Yeah, Zero Cool 666 says
Carl Urban, I think.
Okay. The movie just won't work nowadays. If we lived in the late 90s, it would. But John Cena wasn't a wrestler in the late 90s. If anything, maybe they would get Hulk Hogan to be Duke Nukem.
That would be crazy.
And that's the thing about it, is that a lot of these movies like Doom and Duke Nukem, yeah, they would have worked a lot better in the 90s. The problem with that is that movie producers did not have a lot of faith in video game adaptations.
That's the thing,
movies that were based on video games.
Interesting. The Doom movie was kind of in plans for a long time, but it didn't actually come to fruition until Doom 3. The story didn't have fuck all to do with any Doom, but the art style was heavily inspired by Doom 3.
Oh.
So I'm wondering if there could be a similar aspect with a Duke Nukem movie where it's just going to kind of bounce around until a Duke Nukem game is actually produced that people are like, hey, another Duke Nukem game that might actually give a chance. Why not? Because they're not going to go forever style. And then, like, art concepts are based on the new game, but a story is just kind of pulled out of their ass.
If they do that, I demand that everything look pixelated and Duke Nukem must wear a pink shirt. Classic Duke Nukem.
That would be the best Duke Nukem movie. Just have John Cena walk up to this lady that's made out of like 128 pixels, hand her a dollar bill, and she shakes her 2 pixels at him. Right, there we go.
How many bathroom scenes would we have in which you just pee on everything, and then he would say a bunch of one-liners?
Oh, God. That's I don't know, a Duke Nukem game that played a Duke Nukem movie that would go paced like how I played Duke Nukem 3D would not be that great, because I'd be like, run out into the hallway, get shot by a bunch of aliens, run into the bathroom, take a pee, kick the urinal, drink the water, then run back out into the hallway to fight the aliens again.
Yeah, shoot the alien by the head, kick the alien's head, make a touchdown, and then have this huge, gigantic fight with another alien who's just as huge, and then be surrounded by sexy women.
Right. I mean, like, when you think about it, Duke Nukem weirdly works better as a porno with a higher budget. You've got boots, you've got a guy loaded with muscles, you've got things exploding. It's either going to be a porno or a summer blockbuster.
It has to be made by Troma.
Oh,
yes!
The movie by Troma. There, it works.
Yes, now everything works. Everything makes sense now. Duke Nukem made by Troma Studios. Yes,
the next time I see Lloyd, I'll definitely let him know that.
Yeah. But yeah, like in the 90s, Duke Nukem and Doom would have been movies that worked better at least in the 90s. But unfortunately, in the 90s, movie adaptations of video games did not have a good reputation. They don't really have a great reputation now, but they especially had a bad reputation in the 90s.
I mean, they're like mediocre at best for a lot of them. Like, I remember I was so excited about the Ratchet and Clank movie, and then when I heard that it was just mediocre at best, I was kind of disappointed. I saw the Assassin's Creed movie. It was really confusing, and they changed a lot of stuff. I heard some mixed reviews on the new Tomb Raider movie. I know that's based off of the reboot, not the original. So, yeah, it's I guess we've moved on to the past of movies that are not based off of the video game, that they're just doing whatever they want, to movies that are faithful to the video games, but they have to be a Hollywood movie first.
Right. And I mean, like, I remember the trifecta of crap that people consider the early 90s video game movies. There was Super Mario Brothers, there was Street Fighter, and there was
Double Dragon.
Double Dragon. Yeah, those were like the 3. I think they came out like one after another. Like 1 year.
If it's not Double Dragon, then it's Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That's true. Because Mortal Kombat was like
the first Mortal Kombat movie was actually considered to be pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Then Annihilation just came and fucked it all up. It's like, hey, Johnny Cage? Well, boom, dead in the opening. Ha!
Yeah. You know, they actually did that better in Mortal Kombat 10, in which they did build up Johnny Cage throughout Mortal Kombat 9. And then when he does die, his daughter comes by and tries to avenge his death. That was actually a good telling of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as for a good video game movie adaptation, Nick 12A1, that's up for debate on which sucked the least. Some people say it's the Pokemon movie. Some people say it's Silent Hill. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great. Gabriel Torres is like, sup, Decker and the rest. A little bit late. Finished watching War for the Planet of the Apes.
I heard a lot of good reviews on that one.
I still got to give it a good review. I mean, watch it.
All right, so yeah, that's it for John Cena playing Duke Nukem in a movie that has no script and probably will not go very well. Who knows? Maybe we'll get
be a Super Smash Brothers movie.
Wow. Super Smash Brothers movie. That would be crazy. I mean, if we were to base it off of the newest Super Smash Brothers movie, there would be like, God, like maybe like 40-something characters or something.
Yeah. That sounds
I just want to see Bayonetta walk off into the sunset at the end with Mr. Game & Watch.
Sure, why not?
What about no, wait a minute though. Okay, they can do this very easily. But it'll only be about 10 minutes. It's just 10 minutes of the characters all beating the shit out of each other, and then the last one standing, like you said, walks off into the sunset with Mr. Game & Watch. Or alternatively, the alternate ending, which will only be on the DVD, has Peach and Princess Zelda. And I just stopped there because I realized what I was about to say, and it was awful. I'm sorry.
Okay,
yeah.
So then, on that note with Marios and stuff, I'm sure everyone remembers all of these little things popping up in social media news like, hey, Niagara Falls got like a Mario Kart being built and stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's been going all over for the past couple of weeks, but yes, it is true that Niagara Falls is creating a brand new kart track that claims to be Mario Kart inspired, or at least what every single article online has been talking about. But yeah, apparently everybody's been comparing this new kart track from Toronto in Mario Kart inspired, even though that Nintendo has no affiliation with it.
I know. I'm seeing a very generic track here, but nothing really that screams Mario.
Track. It's got that big corkscrew there. It's got that long little ramp there. It's a really good go-kart track. Really nice. Great at Niagara Falls. Wonderful location. Nothing to do with Mario Kart.
Nope, nothing to do with Mario Kart. And look at that. I mean, it's near, looks like an amusement park, and there's dinosaurs over there. So, hey, drive a little bit, go see dinosaurs, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
And if you're going to go somewhere with your brother dressed in red and green and go karting, this is the place to do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
but don't expect them to supply the shells.
That's true.
Yeah, no turtle shells, no banana peels, no oil spills. Nothing like that, but just good old-fashioned kart driving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that was just what made them think.
Voodoo Guru says the dinosaur area is actually a golf course.
Oh, a golf course. Oh, nice. Okay, then. So play golf with dinosaurs and ride the Ferris wheel and then go drive around Mario Kart style.
Then go karting with Bowser.
Makes sense because there's the dinosaur golf course right over there.
This is going to have to be King Koopa Mario movie style. Look nothing like
We've
Mario.
seen how well that works out. Plumbers!
But no, that'd be fun. I would like to see more. I mean, we've already talked for a long time about how Universal and Nintendo are coming together to make a theme park. And
hold on just a second. Alcino Acosta says Nintendo took down several YouTube videos for showing the ankles of their games. Just wait till they sue that course. Now, actually, it's not the course that says anything with Mario Kart. It's all of the journalists who have been reporting on the course saying that it's Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it so funny. There's no affiliation with Nintendo, but yet every single journalist from Canada who have been covering this particular kart course have been saying it's Mario Kart inspired.
Right.
Zachary
But then
says
again,
it's
knowing
next
Nintendo, they're
review
just
the
as
Super
likely
Mario
to shit
Brothers
it on
movie,
it.
and no, not unless I just got really, really drunk, just like the stars.
No, I don't think you've covered the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now that I think about it, you haven't really covered a lot of like video game movies, have you?
Not as many as you would think, considering how much I talk about video games.
Yeah, I
I
think
do
like
find that a bit strange.
yeah. I guess if I think about it, I mean like the only time in which you did cover like something related to video games was that what was it like the House of the Dead game for the Wii or something?
Yeah. Well, it was originally released on the Wii, and then it got re-released on the PlayStation 3, and then re-released on Steam.
Right. Yeah, now I remember. But yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't covered a lot of video game movies. I'm sure that people are going to be requesting the hell out of it now.
It's like Doom. Yeah.
Yeah, Doom.
Doom.
Doom. Dooms of Doom.
Comment from Toby Kirkby, who says the Super Mario Brothers movie is a masterpiece.
Well, as
This
we
is
all
a bad
know, art is subjective.
This is a bad time to mention that I'm one of the people who actually enjoyed watching the Super Mario Brothers movie when I grew up. It had nothing to do with the games, like, at all in any capacity, but I enjoy how terrible it is. It's just fun.
Yeah, and similar to like Planet of the Apes, in which you got a graphic novel, there was actually, I think a few years ago, there was an announcement about that the Super Mario Brothers movie was getting a graphic novel continuing off from the cliffhanger ending.
Mm-hmm. I used to wonder what the hell happened after Princess Daisy barges in dressed like Rambo and is saying they're never going to believe this. And I was like, okay, so then what happened? Because somehow I feel like what happened is going to be more interesting than the movie we got before.
Yes, $2 comment from Lunchbox64 who says, "Please review Doom." Oh, there you go.
I'm gonna have some fun with that. Review the '90s game. Like, yeah, it's really nice, kind of pixelated by today's standards.
Yeah, it was at one point considered to be a 3D game.
Mm-hmm.
But
though technically, the BSP engine was only capable of changing the floor height, but could not actually stack floors one on top of the other.
Right, but no, I think from what I remember a few years ago reading that article that they did actually continue off from that story. I have no idea if they ever released it, but yeah, it would be kind of interesting to actually find out what was that Daisy was talking about, and if they were actually going to do a sequel to Super Mario Brothers, the movie. If they were trying so hard to be like the video game, then would Super Mario Brothers 2, like the American version, would it be featuring them going over to a dreamland where we fight off like a giant frog who looks more like a dinosaur throwing a whole bunch of vegetables?
And squirting bubbles.
Yeah, squirting bubbles and fighting off genderless Birdo and a rat with sunglasses with bombs and that would be a
little men with stubby legs and flippers for arms that are wearing gas masks.
Right. $5 comment from just another black man who says a movie in which the actors have to be shit-faced in order to make the movie pretty garbage, like Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And possibly related.
Yes. And before we get to that, $2 CA comment from Vubu Guru who says, friendly reminder that Rampage is getting a movie. Oh, that's
starring
right.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes, that's the other
May eventually be President Johnson.
Yeah. Hey, if Ronald Reagan, who once was an actor, can be president, then at this point in time, I wouldn't be surprised if Dwayne Johnson becomes our next president.
I would not. I would, as much as I hate to say it, I say go for it. He can't do. Can he really do worse? I mean,
I
maybe, but he'd have to really, really,
Yeah,
really try.
I just see the path to victory here. President Trump, President Johnson, President Shado.
And now I'm afraid.
Me too.
Wait, do I get to be vice president at the very least?
No,
Yes.
no. According to my Twitter, what was it like? There was this Twitter thing that I took about like if you put in the @ and type in the first letter of the name and then it pops up, then you would be done this. I think that Decker was like the Secretary of Defense, and then Creepy, I think you were the Secretary of Education.
Oh yeah, I remember. I decreed to equip all the troops with motherfucking chainsaw hands.
Yes, that's the one. And let's see, what was it? Let's see. Yeah, I think that if there's nothing else we can cover regarding about that, then I guess we can go over to our next topic. Oh boy. So, all right. I guess we can go over to some TV news regarding about a TV show based off of popular horror comedy series, the Evil Dead movies. So I'm sure some people already know about Ash versus the Evil Dead. And there were talks about that Bruce Campbell had said in an interview that Bruce Campbell will not make any more Evil Dead movies if Ash versus the Evil Dead is canceled. If they canceled it, I think Ash is done.
Which is pretty much the entirety of his quote about it. He doesn't go into any more detail. He's just giving a kind of off the cuff reaction. Like, yeah, if they cancel the show, I guess that's it for the character. I don't think they're gonna make any more movies on this. I'm old. What do you want?
Well, let's be fair. They did do the Evil Dead reboot, and they didn't have Bruce Campbell in that.
Yeah,
that's true. We all know how well that went over.
Yeah.
Middlingly. It's not. I mean, diehard Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell fans obviously didn't like something that didn't have Ash Williams or Bruce Campbell in it.
Right.
But you know, just general horror. It was a general horror, which isn't really the greatest for fans of Evil Dead for its outlandish kind of crazy things and all But
$5 comment from Nerdbane. Candidate Shado loses the electoral vote to President-elect Keemstar.
Oh.
Oh, Keemstar. But let's see. Eda Horta says he literally has Bruce. Don't call me Ash Campbell. Yeah, I guess it's kind of mixed bag, considering that I do know that in some cases that he is getting sick and tired of being typecast. So I guess maybe this is his case in which, okay, if there are no more seasons of Ash versus the Evil Dead, I don't know if I want to do it anymore. I want to see if I can do some other stuff. So, or that,
Bruce
or
Campbell doing Shakespeare.
Bruce Campbell doing Shakespeare. I would love to see that.
See, the problem is Yorick would just start biting him in the face and he'd be like,
alas, poor Yorick. How I knew thee. Right.
Admit it. Everyone wants to see this.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm actually really curious about what your thoughts would be. I mean, if this would be the last time that we would see Bruce Campbell in any Evil Dead anything with Sam Raimi or any reboots, or if they actually do a continuation of the Evil Dead reboot, then I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, how long can Bruce Campbell continue playing a role like Ash Williams right before he gets too old for the role? It'd be like when he did Bubba Hotep, in which he was like portraying as this old man. I take it that he would be that old at that point.
Right. And for me, it's just like, I mean, it was going to happen eventually. I'm not saying good riddance or that I'm glad of it. I'm just saying, yeah, it was going to happen someday.
Yeah. $5 comment from John Horn. Sorry. Here's all I can afford, Decker. I've already spent my chat money on Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Well, thank you very much, John Horn.
What is Razor Fist?
Razor Fist is another YouTuber, the Rageaholic, and he does Razor Fist Arcade relatively frequently. He's got how many 100,000 subscribers? He passed 100,000. I think he might be past 200 or close to it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So,
he did a review of a movie that I also did a review of, Rock and Roll Nightmare. I can talk.
Another $5 comment from just another black man who says, "I would definitely vote for President Decker Shado just for the motherfucking chainsaw hands, but I do agree with Bruce's statement."
Yeah.
ooh, thank you. That should be my campaign slogan. This is a vote for Decker Shado. A vote for Decker Shado is a vote for motherfucking chainsaw hands.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Shado. My opponent says that you will do very poorly with foreign policy and the economy. Your response? Motherfucking chainsaw hands! Just cut the podium in half right there. Audience erupts. Get all the votes. Yeah. It's brilliant.
He was so happy
brilliant.
when we saw that. He was so happy when we saw that kaiju movie where the kaiju had chainsaw hands. It just made his day. So yeah, everything he just said is completely believable.
Yes. Decker, we need to find a way to cut taxes so that we can be able to spend it on bettering the environment and for helping preserve nature. Cutting with the chainsaw hands, literally cutting it in half, and there you go. That's basically it for the day.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Rids or Rides. I'm sorry if I pronounced it incorrectly. Harrison is too old to be indie. Yeah, and there was even talks a while ago about that. They wanted to do another Indiana Jones movie, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, the interesting thing about that to me is that Harrison Ford, after Last Crusade, Harrison Ford, was practically begging Hollywood to make another Indiana Jones movie, and it was stuck in development hell until it was 2008.
Yeah, and then
the Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
right.
Shia LaBeouf.
And which is, I remember I didn't hate it. It's not very. I mean, okay. Nuclear explosion in refrigerator aside.
It was a headlined refrigerator.
Aside from that, the movie by itself is not horrible. It's just not that great either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes right down to it, it's a C-. It's not great, but it's not. I mean, it's not awful, but it's just not great either. And we went into the theater. People wanted to see a great Indiana Jones movie. Decker, move.
Lead-lined refrigerator.
Stop doing that. So,
hey, I look at the bright side. At least that particular location did inspire a Call of Duty level.
And in Fallout New Vegas, if you have the Wild Wasteland perk right outside of Good Springs, you find a fridge with a dapper hat and a skeleton in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, aside from that moment, it wasn't a terrible movie, but it wasn't great either. And I can definitely, a part of me does want to see more Indiana Jones movies, but at the same time, I would want Harrison Ford playing them, and Harrison Ford is, I'm sorry to say, and it pains me to say this, but yeah, he is too old for the role.
Yeah.
Eddie Herder's asking, you guys planning on doing skits for part of your reviews? And I'm thinking, like, I like doing skits, but I don't want, I mean, it takes quite a bit more time to get them ready, unfortunately, but at the same time also, that's good and bad, because it's bad because a lot of times I don't go through so many reviews in a row with no skits at all. Good because when I do have a skit, it has to be something that I'm like, okay, it's definitely worth going through all this trouble for, because I absolutely loved like the Tree of Woe. That was like my favorite one ever.
Yeah, skits are really hard to do, especially that you want to have it fit in the context of whatever that you're reviewing.
Mm-hmm.
JD
like
for $2 says, Shado for Prez, repeal remakes and bad movies.
I promise, in the name of these motherfucking chainsaw hands, that you will not hear me talk about these terrible reboots and remakes ever again. Curse you, I forget what the company that Michael Bay's done for like all those reboots of those movies, like the Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever. Like, curse you for doing that, and curse movies like the dinosaur movies like Poseidon Rex for ever existing. How dare you make cheesy movies with bad dialogue and bad CGI that looks like it belongs in a PlayStation 1.
I was just thinking,
remember
on the third debate, of my opponent there saying, my opponent's entire platform revolves around nothing but chainsaw hands. Your response? Of course.
I'm like, let's see. Reagan had his war on drugs. Bush had his war on terrorism. President Shado's war, his entire presidency will be the war on Hollywood.
The war on Hollywood.
Yeah.
Toby Kirkby drops 2 pounds and says, for the Tree of Woe, that shit was hilarious.
You see, people keep saying the Tree of Woe, and what that brings to mind is the Gay Jesus review, the review we did of the short film, the one that was banned by YouTube for reasons.
Why does that remind
the ending? Because of the ending, where 3 clones of you were chanting to Satan, and one of them was doing so while trying to have sex with a tree.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, so the part in the Conan the Barbarian review
where
James Earl Jones is like, contemplate this on the Tree of Woe.
Whoa.
And I'm there chained to a tree, and it's like, this is so bad. Whoa! What the hell was that?
I remember.
Zoom out, and there's just a whole bunch of heads on the tree, like, whoa, 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 whoa. Ah!
Now I remember it. Yeah. I had forgotten about that. I don't know why, but I had forgotten about that. Now I remember.
$2 comment from Lunchbox64. Put Asylum in jail for their crimes against movies. Oh yeah, that's right. Asylum. I forgot about that. Thank you for the reminder, Lunchbox64. I think the last time that I posted something Asylum related, I was tweeting to Decker regarding about that. Hey, look at this, Decker. Asylum wants to do animated movies now. And then you were like, why?
Yeah, that's pretty much the response to anything by Asylum. Why? Why?
Why?
Oh boy.
And then you have all of Asylum's religious movies.
But yeah, on why and why not, there's Banjo Kazooie.
Oh, yes, that's right. So we did talk in the last episode of Live and Wired about how they were doing a new Super Smash Brothers game, or at least maybe a port of the Wii U and 3DS game to the Switch. And we saw the Splatoon main protagonist. But Microsoft executive is open to putting Banjo in the new Super Smash Brothers. Which I remember that Banjo Kazooie was opted to be in, I think it was in the Nintendo 64 Super Smash Brothers, alongside with like James Bond from GoldenEye and other characters that they didn't put in until Melee. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because there were talks about they want to do a new Banjo Kazooie game for the Xbox One without any association with the main people behind it. And now they're talking about, hey, let's see if we can try to put Banjo Kazooie in the new Super Smash Brothers.
Because that would be really good advertising to have Banjo Kazooie on the Xbox One.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
Banjo Kazooie, it's not like it didn't have fans. It did have fans, but it was only popular for like a hot minute. And then it lasted long enough to have 2 games, I think, to its name. And then I think it was gone.
Well, I mean, the Microsoft buyout in 2002 didn't really help much because there were plans of Banjo 3 for the Nintendo GameCube, as featured in the what was it, like the Nintendo live show in 2000, where they were showing like, oh, this is going to be the new Zelda game with these realistic graphics. Oh, look, there's Wind Waker, and then everybody was like all pissed off, and then oh, we love it, it's a great game. So yeah. So because of Microsoft's buyout, there was no Banjo-Kazooie games for the longest time, and there were plans of doing another Banjo-Kazooie game for years. There was like Banjo Pilot, and then Banjo X, and then Banjo Kazooie, and then eventually we had Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and and then pretty much everybody hated it. And then
I had Nuts and Bolts. I think it wasn't that bad of a game.
No,
but if you want a Banjo Kazooie game, it was not that.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
It was a game. It started Banjo and Kazooie, but they didn't jump around on platforms and collect jiggies. They drove around in cars that they built up Minecraft style and collected jiggies.
Right. A $5 comment from Zachary Barron, who says, "Love the streams and videos."
Thank you.
But yeah,
I had a lot of fun in Nuts and Bolts, just making like all kinds of weird things. But eventually I just got bored of constantly switching my cars, so I just built this one design that could do like every challenge. It had retractable wings for the flying parts. It could go underwater. It had all sorts of little bells and whistles on it. The only time I had to change cars after building that one was when there was something that I had to have like a whole bunch of passengers on, so I built a bus.
Yeah, and I think that if they are going to do a Banjo-Kazooie-esque character in the new Super Smash Bros. Game, I wouldn't be surprised if they would have put in Yooka-Laylee as opposed to Banjo-Kazooie.
Because Yooka-Laylee is a bit more relevant right now, strangely enough.
Yeah, exactly, because Yooka-Laylee, done by Playtonic, done by the same people who were former Rare members, and then they decided to do this huge Kickstarter that was like funded in less than like 48 hours, and then they released it in a whole bunch of platforms. And I do know that there's like a Switch port possibly coming out because the Wii U port was canceled, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Yooka-Laylee would be a character, or maybe another indie character. So yeah, I'm actually really curious about that. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie and Super Smash Bros. I think it's a little too late now, because since they're owned by Microsoft, I mean, I guess they could do the Solid Snake route, in which, oh, he was in an NES game, and then we can have permission to, let him be in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But I think this is going to be a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah. But Nintendo games, Nintendo stuff that just remembering of the reminding of the thing of the Ark Survival Evolvedness.
No. Okay.
What?
Ark Survival Evolved is a game that's been out on PC forever, and pre-release and then eventually release, and it runs about the same, very badly. It got ported to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and it runs about the same, very badly, about 30 frames a second at 720p. If it can manage that. But there was some talk about maybe getting it ported to the Nintendo Switch by some crazy bastards. However, the team that it was handed to actually did something that the team that made the game never seemed to think was too important: optimizing. And the game actually runs on the Nintendo Switch, handheld, at a decent frame rate, in at least 720p. So I saw that there was off-screen footage of the guy playing it on a Switch, Ark Survival Evolved. It looked good. It's a little crazy.
Basically, this could have happened the whole time. They just didn't.
Pretty much. I mean, that Ark Survival Evolved runs worse than it has any right to based on how it looks. It looks good, but it doesn't look so good that it should be running at such a low resolution and such a low frame rate.
Yeah. I see. We have a comment from Descendant who says the game updates do not fix the game either, so a port would not be successful, probably.
I don't know. I think like with the Nintendo Switch version, my idea is like, hey, local multiplayer is a nice and easy to do option. So I could actually just play on the island alone with my little tribe and not have to worry about this giant tribe that owns all the dinosaurs and all the land coming in and killing me all the time, or
Right.
having to come up and kill them or try and ally with them and then have them do all the work while I just sit back and enjoy doing the stuff they tell me.
$5 comment from Perrin Shoebridge. Since Decker and Creepy did 2 Kamen Rider movies, will they ever do Shin?
Sheen Kamen Rider.
Thank you.
I'd be open for it.
Shin Gojira.
Decker?
No, not that Shin, Decker. Wrong Shin.
No. Run one.
Shin.
I take it
I
that's
don't have Shin Kamen Rider.
possibly.
I'm still getting over Kamen Rider Ghosts. Like, it's Ghost Rider, but it's Kamen Rider. I don't get it.
Ghostly jackets will haunt you.
Buy our belts and hoodies.
Yes.
Fortnite for Nintendo Switch, says Mysterious Milk. It's actually funny because I was going through a comment, not a comment, an article to find for this week's Live and Wired, and apparently Fortnite is becoming the biggest video game to play on YouTube or to have Let's Plays on. It pretty much beat Minecraft, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
I think that's what it was, but I decided that wouldn't be long or in-depth enough to discuss more in detail of, because the other stuff was more interesting to cover. Speaking of which,
it's a good excuse to say, wow.
yeah, Fortnite, you've taken the lead on most video games to cover on YouTube. Congratulations, you beat Minecraft. Wow. All right. I guess we can go over to the next one. Yeah, let's go over to some more movie news. So we have a upcoming horror kids movie directed by Eli Roth and starring Jack Black. We have a trailer, and the trailer is called, if I can just pull it up real quick. Trailer is called The House with a Clock in Its Walls. And
which is usually where you put the clocks in your house, but excuse me.
Yeah. I guess it would be weird.
Or is it like in the walls and not on the walls?
Yeah, that's what it says. In its walls. The house.
Oh, okay. Because gears don't make good insulation.
Right. Because I'm imagining a kid walking through a house and being kind of like Decker described, be like, just where the hell is that ticking sound coming from? Or it's like, I keep hearing an alarm go off, but I can't find out where the damn clock is.
Yes.
I mean, this would certainly be annoying at the very least, but I'm not sure it screams scary by itself.
Eddie Herta was asking what was the chewing gum part of Live and Wired. That was Duke Nukem.
Yes, John Cena will be Duke Nukem in an upcoming movie that has no script.
Yeah.
So yeah, as mentioned in the article, that Jack Black was previously in a Goosebumps movie. So I guess this is more like a continuation of doing horror movie for kids. So yeah,
Jack Black's done horror movies and he's done kids movies. So
yes,
like he was in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I think.
I think so, and I think he was in like the Neverending Story 3, which has some horror fantasy elements in there. And
well, it was definitely a horrible movie at the very least.
There you go. And let's see. I guess Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny has the devil in it.
Oh yeah, but that's like it's rock.
Yeah, I know it's rock. I get it, but there's that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that Jack Black is delving more into the horror kids genre. Which, good on him.
Spine. I still think that it seemed like it was Jack Black and Kyle Gass that were the roles of the Dude and Bear were in. What the hell was the name of that dinosaur flick? The terrible Jurassic City.
Jurassic City, yeah.
The one terrible dinosaur movie that I just reviewed. Which one was it? I still say it seems like they came off so much like it was written and intended for Jack Black and Kyle Gass, but they were like, no, and just walked away. So like, oh, okay, let's get someone else in there.
But yeah, Jack Black has been known for playing a lot of fun characters in various movies, and the fact that he's going to be teaming up with Eli Roth to pull off something like this should be kind of interesting. I haven't seen the trailer myself, but it's still in the early stages. From the looks of it, it does sound interesting. I'm just seeing about what the final results will be.
What?
Oh, and Fellow Man says he was also in an X-Files episode where he was killed by a mutant with electric powers and a bad attitude.
I remember that. I hated that episode too.
That poor Jack Black. He keeps dying.
50 DKK from Colonel Scremmel. Greetings and salutations to all you fine hosts of Live and Wired. What movie titles are you looking forward to in 2018 and why?
Halloween, because I'll probably get paid. Trying so hard to get this YouTube thing to work out, and that's the kind of thing that is like, yes, big title horror movie coming out. This might help me.
I'm looking forward to Isle of Dogs coming out next week.
I've already seen Black Panther.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Tremors 6.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Tremors. What was it? Tremors 5 or Tremors 6?
Tremors 6. I'm actually excited for it. I'm like, hey, it looks like I'll have a good time with it. You still got Burt Gummer?
Yeah. Oh, a Predator. Yes, that's right. Anthony Hudak. That's right. The new Predator movie. We'll be discussing about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much on that, so.
I actually have an article ready for it.
Ah.
You're welcome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Isle of Dogs, Incredibles 2, especially because my friend Aaron and I were doing Pix Mix, which is a podcast looking at every single Pixar movie leading up to that. So, looking forward to that as well. Anything else I can think of on the top of my head? Not really. I'm sure that there's probably something else, but right now I'm just looking forward to Isle of Dogs. That's coming out next week in my local cinema.
The thing that really comes to mind for me, I've already seen Black Panther. I've already seen A Wrinkle in Time. In regards to The Incredibles 2, I'm more like, finally, than anything else. But that is exciting. And Halloween, I'm not really enthused for, just because I fell out of love with the Halloween films a long time ago. But who knows? They can still surprise you.
Yeah, and yes, Infinity War is also another movie, but I still haven't seen Black Panther yet, so I'll have to catch up with it.
Yeah, I am excited about that too.
Yes, Hollow Man, I'll give you the links to Pix Mix so you can check it out.
Awesome.
Let's see, but yeah, it sounds like a lot of OV cool titles incoming there. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting, to be quite honest. Let me see, just put that there. Okay. All right, there you go. Anybody who's interested in checking out Pix Mix, there you go. All right, so yeah, nothing really much to say on the subject. So let's go over to that Predator, upcoming Predator article that I did stumble upon, that I actually just sent over to Decker like a few hours even before this live stream even started. So yes, we're talking about the upcoming Shane Black Predator movie, and the Predator teaser image takes the franchise back into the jungle. Plot details have been few and far between for Shane Black's Predator, but the director himself has provided a tease of the chaos in terms of one of the film locations. Black took to Twitter and posted this images showing a sunlit jungle, which nostalgic fans will remember as the iconic playground that John McTiernan's 1987 film dealt with. The movie debuted The Predator and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers as part of a special team who ended up in a fight to the death with the alien bounty hunter. So, yes, as of right now, this is the only picture that we got. Let me just increase the screen. So, yeah, there you go. So that's pretty much it.
All right. Also, I got the Twitter poll going. The happy 30-minute Twitter poll in the middle of Live and Wired.
Woohoo!
Live and Wired Battle Royale. Who would win? Ash Williams, Duke Nukem, The Predator, or Jack Black? You have 30 minutes starting now to vote. Twitter @DeckerShado.
And I'll be posting the poll on the chat.
Yes, just a second.
Thank you. If Jack Black is going to win, he has to at least do a finishing move involving with his guitar and maybe the devil from Tenacious D coming to attack them and making them their sex toy. All right, there you go, guys. Go to the voting.
Don't disappoint us.
Yes, don't disappoint us. Let's see. A lot of people are asking about finishing the Hatchet movies. So I'm sure that you're gonna get to that eventually. Oh, Eddie Huerta says everybody say pre-Decker. 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 Okay, now I get it. Okay, that's good.
Dang it. I was confused. I'm an idiot.
Actually a good one. Pre-Decker. I guess what would make creepy though?
Creep Alien?
Creep Alien, yeah, that's a good one. Creep Alien. Pre-Decker versus Creep Alien.
Oh, jeez.
Can Decker's shadow escape the face full of creepy alien wing-wang?
Oh, joy. Okay.
Lovely. All right, I think that we've about reached the halfway point. So, who's in the mood for another trivia game?
You.
Oh, boy. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we have today's trivia game is called Great Movies That Had Rotten Reviews. These classic movies had gotten some rotten reviews back in the day, but now when reevaluating it, they are considered to be classics. Trashed by people from Roger Ebert to Pauline Kael. So I'm going to be reading you the movies. I'll give you a choice of 3 movies, and you can guess on which ones that I'm talking about.
Ah, man, because I mean, I'm thinking like Soldier that got trashed, but it's like no, but it's still trashed. Oh.
All right. Well, let's see. Okay, so our first movie. This movie came out in 1974. It is a Frankenstein monster stitched together from leftover parts. It talks, it moves, and fits, but it has no mind of its own, looking very expensive but spiritually desperate. It has an air of a very long, very elaborate review sketch from Vincent Canby of the New York Times. Which movie are we talking about? Are we talking about, is it A, Jaws? Is it E, not E, I can speak. Is it B, The Godfather Part 2? Or is it C, The Exorcist?
I would guess Jaws, because I know that a lot of, a lot of critics don't like horror, is what I've learned.
Yeah.
And Jaws, I do remember, did not get good reviews from critics when it came out, although it did very well at the box office and was much beloved by the general public.
I would think that The Exorcist probably did worse with critics than Jaws.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but...
All right, well, sorry, guys. It's not Jaws. It's actually The Godfather Part 2.
Really?
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm an idiot.
That's okay. All right. Okay, next movie. Very simple one from Pauline Kael from The New Yorker. It's an assemblage of spare parts. It has no emotional grip. It's an epic without a dream. Which movie is it? Is it A, Indiana Jones, B, E.T., or C, Star Wars A New Hope?
Ooh.
I'm going to say Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try Spielberg again and go E.T.
All right. Creepy's right. It is Star Wars A New Hope.
I'm a loser. Do I feel sorry for myself?
Oh, don't worry about it. All right, let's take a look at the next movie. Let's see. Oh, all right. We have, okay, here's a comment. No, I'm sorry. Here's a critique from Frank Rich from Time Magazine. Technically slick and commercially single-minded, this film attempts to crossbreed the scare tactics of Jaws with the sci-fi hardware of Star Wars. The result is a cinematic bastard, and a pretty mean bastard at that. This movie contains a couple of genuine jolts, a barrage of convincing special effects, and enough gore to gross out children of all ages. What it's missing is wit, imagination, and the vaguest hint of human feeling. So, what movie is this one? Is this Alien? Is this Predator? Or is this Alien versus Predator?
I guess Alien.
Okay.
I was thinking probably The Thing, but I don't know.
I'm going to say Predator.
All right. Decker got this one right. It is Alien.
Oh.
Anthony Hudak was also thinking The Thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm hearing all this. I was like, that sounds like The Thing.
Yeah, I know that does sound like The Thing, but yeah, who would have thought that at one point Alien was considered to be a cinematic bastard?
Right.
How times
That is kind of a surprise. That is a surprise, actually.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see if I can find the next one.
Blake the Gambling Hero says he was thinking Virus. Yeah.
Okay, so we have this one is a an Alfred Hitchcock movie. The old master has turned out another Hitchcock and Bull story. Get it? In which the mystery is not so much who done it as who cares. This is from Time Magazine. Which movie is this? Is this Dial M for Murder? Is this what was it? Dial M for Murder? Is this Rope or is this Vertigo?
I'm going to say Dial M for Murder.
Okay.
I'll go Rope. I like Rope.
All right. Sorry, guys. It's actually Vertigo.
Well, crap.
Aww.
Yeah.
We're both Masadi tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Many people consider this to be the greatest movie ever made, off-beating Citizen Kane. So, yeah, apparently this was at one point a cock and bull story that was not cared by Time Magazine.
Wow.
All right. I'm going to go with one more. Okay, this is another one from Pauline Kael from The New Yorker. This is a John Carpenter movie. Carpenter is not very gifted with actors, and he doesn't seem to have any feeling at all for motivation or for plot logic. This movie has a pitiful, amateurish script. Which movie is this? Is this, let's see. I even forgot my choices. I'm an idiot. Okay, so which movie is this? Is this Halloween? Is this Big Round Little China? Or is this The Thing?
The Thing. I know The Thing was hated by critics when it came out. It was like, oh God, the gore. What was it? Oh my hell. Holy hell.
I'm going to go with Big Trouble in Little China.
All right. So what do you say, Decker?
He said The Thing.
Okay, he said The Thing. No, both of you are wrong. It's Halloween.
Okay, then Toby Kirkby got it.
Yeah, so yeah, Pauline Kael hated on two movies now considered classics.
I was waiting. I was waiting for you to get to one where it was like, okay, so Roger Ebert says, and I'm just like Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Let me see if I did find a Roger Ebert one. I think I did skim through it, but I don't think it was a horror action movie that I was able to find. I think it was something else. Let me see if I can just run through that really quick. That is if my screen doesn't freeze. Let's see. And my screen is frozen. Crap. Let's see.
Eddie Herder says he's still got 2 out of 3, so Eddie Herder won.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I got 1 right. Creepy got 1 right.
Yeah.
We're terrible. We are bad critics. We don't know anything.
That's okay. Here it is. Now I found the Roger Ebert one. By the end of this long film, I would have traded any given gladiatorial victory for just one shot of the blue skies, and that was for Gladiator.
We kind of gave it away in the
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, $5 super chat from Nerdbane. Critics are dope. So what kind of jackass listens to the other people's opinions to movies?
I know, right? But yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. All right, so let's go over to our next set of articles, and let's talk about YouTube, because we all love talking about YouTube. So, according to this article from entrepreneur.com, you don't need to be on YouTube to make money with video content. So, you don't need to do video content on YouTube. You can just do these things and you'll still make money. So, according to this article, let's take a look at the things of how you can be able to make money without being on YouTube. So, let's see what we got. Okay. Number 1. Let's see. Anyone with a camera phone can make money on their videos, and here is how. Number 1, take time to view what type of content is being watched and what is doing particularly well. Short, digestible videos are cute, funny, or inspiring, tend to see success, and will receive pickup by publishers.
Pickup by published? Yeah, okay. You don't need to be on YouTube. Just get published. Oh, if I can get published, I don't have to upload to YouTube, you know?
Yeah, and especially for like our friend James from Manic Expression, who wrote his original books and for the longest time was independent. Now he's trying to see if he can be able to go to the next level and having a publisher do his stuff. But apparently here, all you have to do is just do like short little 10-second videos, and you just have to find the right publisher and you can make a bunch of money.
Yeah, just do it for the Vine on your iPhone by yourself.
Yeah.
And the publisher will snatch you up. They like your stuff. Here we go.
Number 2, keep your eyes open. Every day we come across scenes that make us laugh, cry, or gasp. Be prepared to capture those moments.
So don't pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you
really
can
nice,
record.
funny cat videos.
Right. If you have a funny cat video that makes you laugh, cry, or gasp, then you'll be able to make a bunch of money with it. Be able to pay off your student loans.
I just love the sound of frustration out of you there, Creepy. That reminds me, Creepy just hit 90,000 subscribers.
Yay!
Yes. There, I said it.
All right. Number 3, we recommend trying out different types of content. There's no risk involved for publishing a video that doesn't perform as well as you hope. Sometimes it's the most unexpected clips that garner the largest audience.
That's just called trying to find the best thing is to find what you like doing, something that you're going to enjoy making a lot of.
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyway. Just do random shit and see what sticks is what a lot of people starting try to do.
Right.
But if you keep that up for too long, then you just never will find an audience because no one knows what to expect from you. And it's hard to find someone who's just going to be like, yeah, I have absolutely no idea what you're going to do, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it.
Yeah. 1 week, I'm doing a cooking video. The next week, I'm destroying something. The 3rd week, I'm doing a Let's Play. The 4th week, I'm contemplating on Shakespeare. And
I got the Let's Plays on my second channel, which I've been enjoying. Mm-hmm. I got the reviews here. I started doing Live and Wired, and this is a really, random thing. but it took a lot of thought going into it. And yeah, that's it's interesting seeing how the performances, because I've been looking at the live viewers. This is so far the lowest performing episode yet. Though I'm wondering if that has to do with YouTube not giving out notifications like they're supposed to, because someone is saying that the algorithm's changed again. I don't know.
Or it could be possible due to tonight being Passover and tomorrow being Easter.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I should probably pay attention to things like that more often.
To all of our Christian and Jewish viewers, we are so sorry that we forgot about that. Please forgive us.
I'm a PlayStation knight.
Finally, okay, let's see. Number 4, if possible, edit your videos. While it's not imperative that your content be professionally edited, videos that have more polished, finished look are oftentimes more appealing.
Really?
I did not know that.
Gasp!
I thought just leaving the camera on was the exact same as producing a movie. Man, I'm learning a lot here.
Finally, number 5, keep your content safe. Once your content is uploaded, approved, and gathering traction and earning money, it is important for you to protect yourself from getting screwed by media companies looking to use your videos. Ensure your videos are being properly looked after through a rights management platform so that your content isn't being used by companies without your knowledge and without proper compensation.
Yeah, if you upload a lot of 5-second cat videos, they're going to be put into the compilation clips, and they're not going to tell you. It's like, look, here's your daily dose of internet. What do you want from me?
If you're willing to put yourself out there and spend a little extra time on your content, you too can earn money on the videos that you share online.
Oh, right.
Joy.
We're not going to tell you where, but you don't have to be on YouTube.
Nope, you don't have to be.
Probably, based on this advice, is probably your best bet, just so you know.
I kept waiting to hear, well, you keep saying you don't have to be on YouTube, but where do you go?
Where do you go? Where does the money come from? It's like, nah, just here's some ideas of how you can make videos. It's like, that's not what you said the article was about. You said it's how to take the videos I am already making and make money without going through YouTube.
Exactly. I'm missing, there's a key element that was promised in the title of this article that is missing from the article itself.
Yes.
Descendants like you go to RedTube.
Right.
And others are saying, well, when are you going to back up and upload to Pornhub?
All right, so far in the poll, 42% are voting for the Predator. So the Predator is currently on the lead.
As expected.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm actually a little disappointed that Duke Nukem, is not going to win. I mean, he has the most experience fighting aliens, so...
It's kind of rock, paper, scissors there.
And then again, we don't know what Jack Black gets up to when he's not making bad movies, so...
Yeah, but nonetheless, apparently a lot more people think that Jack Black can beat Duke Nukem in a fight.
Kyle Edwards says, Decker, congrats on the 90K, dude. Holt shit.
Holt shit.
Are you referring to, is that a reference to John Holt?
What?
I don't know.
Okay, so we are going to be donating $5 to the animal charity, bestfriends.org. It's nice.
So, yes, thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate it. I don't know what to say.
Anyway, on to the next topic.
Okay, next topic. Let's go back to video games. Yes, video games. All right, so for all the people who tend to say a little swear here and there if you lose to maybe like a video game or maybe you're just casually talking, you have to be careful because offensive language and on Xbox Live could lead to ban or suspension, according to new TOS. So Microsoft changed design to signal consequences. Microsoft has updated its terms of service for online services, including Xbox Live, with a warning that offensive language could lead to a ban or suspension. Let's see. According to the company's update document, in the Code of Conduct section, we clarified that use of offensive language and fraudulent activity is prohibited. We clarified that violation of the Code of Conduct through Xbox services may result in suspensions or bans from participation in Xbox services, including forfeiture of content licenses, Xbox Gold membership time, and Microsoft account balances associated with the account.
Blake the Gambling Hero says, well, my friend Cody's going to get banned quick. He swears like every other word. And from what I remember reading something like, I don't have anything linking to it. I didn't see anything solidifying it, but some saying that, hey, this also applies to services from Microsoft like Skype.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, that's a private conversation between two individuals who most likely know each other. So why would you have to... don't ban me, please.
Yeah, let's see. Jason Kruger says,
I'm sure that Creepy would like it if the next time I randomly Skype him at 3 a.m. to tell him how many subscribers I have. Motherfucker, it just cuts me out and I'm banned from Skype for life. You're like, and just get in nice, lovely sleep from there on out.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I was banned on Skype. To Discord.
Actually, I have been using Discord lately. It's not bad at all, in fact.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, exactly.
Jason Kruger says, if the policy is actually enforced, Microsoft would lose a huge chunk of its 18-plus demographic. I'm thinking also a lot of its 18-minus demographic.
Yeah, and Kyle Edwards says, RIP COD and Overwatch players.
Yeah, it's so much with like I understand the angles, but at the same time, if it's between friends and they know each other, I swear a lot in my show, and I think that it's important because it's just, hey, it's casual, it's candid. This is just whatever. If you know I'm not holding my tongue here, you got a pretty good reason to believe that I'm saying my actual thoughts about the movie.
Right. It's basically just an emphasize. You're just basically emphasizing that. So yeah. All right. I think that to be quite honest, I'm surprised that it hasn't happened sooner. But oh well.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It does seem like a dumb idea, though.
Yeah, it does. Just like, taking away, being suspended or banned from Xbox Live and taking away, gold points just because you said a swear or two.
Though, according to the article, it says that Microsoft was saying that they didn't change any rules in the terms of service. They just clarified. Like, these are things that were technically already on the books. And I'm thinking, is that necessarily true? And if you're clarifying it like that, it's like, I mean, technically, YouTube could change their terms of service to any damn thing, and it would just be a clarification because everything's already against the rules.
Right. And there's also the fact that I remember I played an MMO for a little while back in 2004, I think it was, and it did not have audio. This was, again, 2004, so they didn't have audio chat, but you could not swear in the text chat, that your comment. Now, as far as I know, you wouldn't be banned for it. You just couldn't, send the chat you were saying if it had a swear word in it. But, obviously this does not apply to this situation because they, as far as we know, they can't censor out swear words from someone's audio
in real time.
Real time, not in real time. So I'm like, but at the same time, I still feel like I get where they're, again, like Dicker said, I get where they're coming from, but this is a really dumb idea in terms of enforcing it.
I remember in text chat in MMOs where you weren't allowed to swear. I think it was EverQuest Online Adventures. My mother was playing it, and she was trying to ask for help fighting the cockroaches. And every time she did, it ever so I'd like some help fighting the roaches. It would just kind of garble letters to replace replace whatever part it was like. There's a swear word here, so I'd
Awkward.
like some help fighting these bleep roaches. And then something happened, and she was like, "Damn," and so she typed in "damn." And it was like, that's a swear word. So we're going to put random letters in. And the random letters they put in was cunt.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's great. And, it also reminded me of, you guys know about the Spider-Man video game for the PlayStation 1? The what was done by Neversoft, the guys who made the Tony Hawk games. Apparently, if you put in a swear into the cheat code, Spider-Man will come by and punch it and it would turn into another word. Like if somebody put in a word like fuck or shit, it would turn into something like dinosaur or cinnamon.
I remember playing that game. I had a lot of fun with that game. I love the hell out of it. But I did not know that. So thank you for telling me that, Patricia.
Oh, you're welcome. I wasn't the one who discovered it. Somebody else did, but I just thought I'd be interested to bring up. But this is a really funny comment from ZeroCool666. Microsoft is turning Demolition Man.
That brings back memories too, because
4 minutes
Decker
left
and I
on the poll, and it's actually gotten a bit closer than you might think.
Auto.
So
Predator is not the surefire winner.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else to say about Microsoft trying to keep the bad kids from swearing, otherwise they'll get banned, I guess we can go back into more movie news. So the last time that we did talk about that, somebody like a producer from Stranger Things was, talking about like doing a movie based off of like what was it, like a young adult novel or a movie based off of that. Well, the guys behind The Conjuring and Stephen, the new 2017 Stephen King's It are thinking about doing a adaptation of the Tommyknockers.
I have not seen, I have not read, and the name just is putting all the wrong thoughts and images in my head.
Because of course
I've seen Tommy. It was a nice movie, but what? Oh God.
Yeah, no, don't worry. It has nothing to do with that. So, it is an allegorical tale of addiction, the threat of nuclear power, the dangers of mass hysteria, and the absurdity of technical evolution run amok, as are as relevant today as the day that the novel was written. It is about a tale of eternal power of love and the grace of redemption. The project is expected to garner keen interest thanks to several factors. It is the second best Stephen King novel of all time, with classics such as It, The Shining, and Carrie. James Wan, the director and producer of the Conjuring movies, and Roy Lee, one of the producers of the adaptation of King's It, are tackling the adaptation of the writer's 1987 popular science fiction / horror novel. And yes, for those who are wondering, there was a 1993 mini TV series, and I believe that the Nostalgia Critic covered that a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Nostalgia Critic did a lot of Stephen King. He did the Langoliers, and that was like I was watching it. I remember the Nostalgia Critic's Langoliers review. I never watched the Langoliers, and I was just watching through his review of it and having an interesting time. And then the things come out, and it's like, what the hell?
Evil chainsaw-mouthed Pac-Man.
And Kyle Edwards drops $5 and says, "Decker, play Monster Hunter World. You won't regret it." It's an idea. But yeah, about the Tommyknockers is like, what was it, an alien invasion controlling people's brains, but the one guy can't have his brain controlled because he has a metal plate installed, and so he has to fight the Tommyknockers.
Like they were alien. It was an alien spaceship that had crash landed like centuries ago in Maine. It has to be Maine. And,
take a shot.
Right, and the town was built on top of it, and like there's like a something happens and a small piece of the ship is exposed, like, above the surface of the ground, and it starts influencing the town. They become super smart, but they also go insane, and they feel this compulsion to dig the ship up. And except the only person in the town who's not affected by this is the guy with the metal plate in his head, who I think he was like a recovering alcoholic too, because, well, like the song goes, the story said in Maine, of course, there's nowhere else to live but the writer, the alcoholic too, the adulterer and his whore, some dumb rednecks. A disappointing resolution here in Stephen King's Maine.
Wow. Thank you.
And I actually find that to be one of the times where the Nostalgia Critic was funny, and the joke stayed funny.
But yeah, I think I did remember that there was a Stephen King novel or something about like cell phones and it turned people into zombies or something.
I remember Cell. That was the name
Cell.
of it.
That's what it was. Sounds almost like Cell, except without. It's more, aliens and less cell phones.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, so I'm actually really curious. I mean, I do know that a lot of people really do like the recent It movie. So the fact that they're trying to remake another Stephen King novel that turned into a TV miniseries that now is going to be a theatrical movie. Yeah, I'm actually really curious to see how this is going to be pulled up. Especially since I think that when reading through the article, Stephen King was under the influence with drugs when he wrote that.
Yay!
Yay! Anyway, Big Blake the Gambling Hero says, tell them the news that Primal Rage is getting a movie. Oh, really? Primal Rage is getting a movie?
We're going to have giant dinosaurs and giant apes beating the crap out of each other, and then they've got the worshippers as cheerleaders and stuff, and then occasionally I'm feeling a little low, I'm gonna eat one.
Not to mention using farting as a projectile weapon.
Yeah.
Or the acid pee fatality. The story goes someone was playing the game in a store and did that, so they had to be really good at the game in the first place, because those things were not easy to pull off. You could not do it accidentally.
No.
And some moral busybody saw it and they're like, and it's just they went on their crusade after that because the monkey peed on someone, and that's terrible.
Right.
They could beat the crap out of each other with their blood flying everywhere and bites and claws and kicks and slashes and all that. As soon as one of them peed, that's just too far.
Right. That I don't know if they'll have that in the movie, but I'm sure that if they are going to do one, I'm sure it's going to involve it's going to be like a Pacific Rim movie in which you have dinosaurs and monsters fighting each other, and then the humans are going to be watching or be involved in the fight, and then there's going to be probably some dramatic thing happening with the humans while the monsters fight each other, and then they're going to be farting and pissing and throwing acid in to the entire cities, and then people get all disintegrated and stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be violent, but then it's gonna be.
Nerdbane says that Stephen King was on a lot of stuff, and he said that he forgot 3 years of his life.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard he's been addicted to cocaine. I know was a big thing for him, but he was also an alcoholic, and I think there was it heroin too that he was into for a while. Yeah, he was into some major drugs for a long ass time.
Once he popped, he just can't stop.
I feel bad for his family, because can you imagine what living with someone like that is?
Yeah.
Fortunately, he was really into writing too. So.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So he pretty much spent most of his time locked in his room away from them. So I imagine that was when they liked him best, was when he wasn't around.
All right. I guess we can, start wrapping these up. We only have a few more articles to cover.
Yeah.
We got the results of the poll, 45 votes, and just barely with 38%, the winner of the Live and Wired Battle Royale is the Predator. But
Woo!
Ash Williams did really well at 36%. And
Awesome.
Duke Nukem came in dead last at 7%, getting beaten by Jack Black with 19%.
Wow. That is a story for the ages. Jack Black kicked the crap out of Duke Nukem.
Yes.
I can imagine it now. If there's ever a crossover movie with Jack Black and John Cena playing as Duke Nukem, I can imagine Jack Black beating the crap out of him. That would be a sight to see.
That would. Man, that would.
Oh God. Okay, so okay, let's continue. All right, so one thing we haven't covered in a while is the indie genre. So we did talk about a few indie projects and Kickstarters and GoFundMe's and what have you. So we have a new indie horror movie who says New World Horror, an upcoming zombie movie being featured at a film festival in Wisconsin. He claims he wants to make zombie movies great again.
Because, this is going to go well.
Yeah. All right, so okay, so the new movie called New World Horror takes political extremism to the extreme. Redundancy is redundant. In the film, a group of Tea Party supporters turn into zombies and chase a group of people, including a moderate republic, perhaps the most endangered species of all these days, into a church where a Night of the Living Dead style standoff commences. The sound guy who came in during post-production says, "This is so relevant right now. I wrote it when Obama was president, not Trump. But I don't think our movie is that harsh. It looks at extremism in both ways." The movie will be featuring on a Wisconsin film festival called the New World Horror on Sunday, April 8th. So if you're around that area and if this movie does sound interesting to you, then you can go check it out. But there are talks about that the movie will be released on DVD because this movie was funded on Indiegogo. So possibly it will be coming out relatively soon and possibly in other region film festivals.
I shall not get overly political. It is a show about movies and video games. There is no reason to get political. Hey, here's a group of right-wing extremists that are now zombies and eating people's brains. Talk about it, please. Yay. So, haven't seen it. Don't know if it's at least a good zombie movie. Reading into this, and they tried to go kind of focus on some kind of examples of extremism on both sides, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. I guess we could kind of make the argument that George Romero did something like this back in the day, in which when he was doing Night of the Living Dead, he was trying to make an allegory about how people, when they shop in malls, they're sort of like the zombies. So
that's Dawn of the Dead, I believe.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. I'm sorry, not Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. So yeah, I guess maybe this is the modern equivalent of that? Question mark. But yeah, like I said, this is an independent zombie movie, and if you are interested in checking it out, like I said, it's in a Wisconsin film festival coming out this next week. So maybe when the movie does come out on DVD or Blu-ray, and since Decker has covered a few indie zombie movies in the past, which I think you did do a indie zombie movie a few years ago that was from a film festival. I forgot what the name was.
Yeah, that was Zombie Dearest.
Yeah, Zombie Dearest, right.
Right.
I remember that one. It's hard to forget. It's opening up with a dick joke. Like Dick and the Puppet, like, "Hey, how's it doing? I'm a talking dick."
Lovely.
And then pulling the zombie up by his dick. And the whole thing is... The entire thing is based on the fact that if you are grabbing a dead man's dick, you get a wish. That's what created the zombie. That is the backbone of the. Okay, so I should get off of that. Maybe politics isn't the worst thing that you can base a zombie movie off of. You know, I'm kind of sick and tired of politics and everything in entertainment right now, which is why I'm like, okay, just no, cut. But so just hearing the concept, I'm like, but give it a chance. Still, I still say always give it a chance.
I mean, that's what the next Purge movie is. We talked about that in the last Live and Wired about that. It focuses on political aspects, being a prequel to the Purge movie. So, yeah, they're getting around to doing that in a lot of these horror movies lately. Yeah, let's continue on. I think we can go over to another YouTube news.
Yay!
So, yay, that's a lot of fun. So, judge dismisses lawsuit alleging Google censorship to conservative YouTube videos. Great, more conservatism. Anyway.
Yay, politics.
Yay, politics. A federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit against Google filed by a conservative educational site, PragerU, that alleged the internet giant was censoring its YouTube videos. PragerU's videos weren't excluded from restriction mode because of politics or ideology, as we demonstrated in our filings. They were meritless, both factually and legally, and the court's ruling vindicates important legal principles that allow us to provide different choices to settings to users. And we did talk about this in previous Live and Wired episodes about how they're trying to restrict YouTube from certain things like fake news and trying to censor like the YouTube Red, YouTube Kids. So this is just another layer about that, which
as like the ruling was based on, from what I read in the article, based on the idea that Google doesn't, PragerU doesn't have First Amendment protections against Google because Google is a private corporation. Which brings up the question of, well, they're a gigantic private corporation. Should they still have to take into account people's First Amendment protections? On the other hand, technically things that are clearly protected by the First Amendment, such as the creation of pornography, are very much not allowed on YouTube. And no one's saying that they have to be on YouTube because of First Amendment protection. But the First Amendment does protect it. So how much of that is Google is allowed to restrict it versus Google is not? It's I was talking with Patricia about this before the show started, and I was just saying, it's kind of a slippery slope both ways. So it's not so easy and cut and dry. It's a very, very confusing situation. I don't have answers. I'd like to say big words and make it sound like I'm saying profound, and all it is one big long sentence that means I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty complicated in the matters, especially when it comes to how much can you add into YouTube right before people are just going to be taking you down and sending you to the court. But even Kat Lunicia said it best. I think Deckard made my brain hurt. Yeah, it's just complicated matters.
Yes.
But I mean it's either, trust me, I could have also brought in the other YouTube news about how Jake Paul is going to be having his own talk show on YouTube Red. There's that.
We could talk about PragerU and the complaints about the First Amendment.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. That's much better.
Right.
All right, let's end it off with something else. So I wanted to bring this up
something happy.
Yeah, something happy. I wanted to bring this up on the last episode of Live and Wired, but because it was like on the rumor stages, I didn't know if it was 100% confirmed. Even now, it's probably still not, but there have been some, video game conferences, and there was PAX East and a whole bunch of things, but there's already been release dates and announcements for the Sony PlayStation 5. They will be announcing this in the future, and as you can see here, it was posted this morning. And they were also showing off pictures of what it might possibly look like, which is right down here. The design can have big impact on console sales. Sony will need to put together for a good-looking one. There's like talks of it, but it's not 100% confirmed if that's what it's going to be looking like or not. But I don't think so. It's just, but they were talking about like they're possibly going to be having it released maybe sometime either this year or next year, and they're already claiming that it's going to defeat the Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch very easily, and they're going to be having some more features for the PlayStation Plus and like VR and all that stuff. As for if it will be compatible with PlayStation 4 games, that is yet to be announced.
Interestingly, from what I'm saying, it's like, personally, I think that they could. I got to click off you. Sorry. They could wait a bit longer, and it would make more sense to me to wait a bit longer and get more out of the PlayStation 4 before moving on to the PlayStation 5, especially considering the PS4 Pro out. But at the same time, releasing a PS5 sooner would cut into the momentum of the Nintendo Switch a bit more.
Right, because the Nintendo Switch is already becoming like the next generation of gaming, so I guess they want to get a head start on that really soon.
So yeah, I mean that would force Nintendo's hand a bit faster, which could decrease people's faith in Nintendo. But would releasing so much sooner for the PS5 decrease people's faith in Sony? I don't know. I think people feel like the PS4 had a decent run.
Right, exactly.
It could still have a few more years in it. And I don't think that a PlayStation 5 is coming this year. The talk is that the dev kits got out, but these games do take years to make.
Right.
Exactly.
And, you know, like, even if the PS5 did come out, it doesn't necessarily mean that the PS4 is going to go away in the same year, because when the PS4 came out, they were still making games for the PS3 for a couple of years, I think, at least.
Yeah, and even for like the PlayStation 2, like I think that the last one came out in like, was it like 2010 or 2011, even like years after they stopped making games for it.
Mm-hmm.
There was also talk with the PSVR, and Sony's talking about continuing support for VR into the PlayStation 5, saying that it would have VR capabilities, but they would not force you to buy the headset with the system. It wouldn't come packed in. They would probably have it ready maybe on launch, have PlayStation 5 VR with the PlayStation 5 all at the same time, but it wouldn't be packed in.
Right.
Which is both good and bad. I think, if you pack it in, then that gives it a better excuse to say, hey, it's a standard thing. Anyone developing for the system knows that everyone who has the system has this peripheral with it. On the other hand, VR is freaking expensive and not too many people are enthusiastic about it, so it's kind of like the Kinect with the Xbox One, where it came in and then they had to release it without it anyway later because no one wanted it and it cost a ton of money. And especially with the Xbox One when it launched, nothing supported the Kinect. So it was like a really expensive voice command module.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's still too early to determine about how long that the PS5 will be coming out and what features it'll have, because the dev kits just came out. So it's still determined on that. But trust me, I wanted it to end on a more better note than the whole controversy with YouTube. Always.
But it just seems like every time we do this show, we have something involving YouTube.
And it's always controversial.
It's always
That's why I've had to promise Patricia that I'll stop making evil YouTube thumbnails. Not so much. Not for every little thing involving YouTube. I have something happy, something positive.
Exactly. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the all the news articles that I have for this episode. So I guess we can start wrapping things up.
Right.
Look, is there some people saying that they just now found out that we were live because evidently YouTube didn't send them the notification.
Oh, thank you, YouTube.
Which could explain why this has been the worst performing episode of Live and Wired, peaking at around 60 viewers.
Right. Yeah. I wonder, maybe we should have the announcement, the very first Live and Wired, the announcement for it was several days. A couple
of days in advance.
Right. I think
this was not nearly as much in advance.
Right.
But I'm hoping to get things back on schedule again. Toby Kirby dropped 2 pounds.
Sense because you guys were super busy. Decker, you were doing a billion things at once. Creepy came in a little late. So
Yeah,
I am
Toby
sorry about
Kirby
that.
just dropped £2 on Super Chat saying Tree of Woe, The Return.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the notifications on YouTube are all crazy. I'm hoping to get things working with the channel again. I hope that whatever YouTube's doing wrong with the notifications get worked out. If need be, I might release a video saying, "Hey, by the way, there is that bell, and it has all notifications. Please, please, dear God, click it." And I don't want to have that in every single video I put out, like most YouTubers anymore. At least the ones that are doing well, because they're like, "Please, dear God, subscribe, like, dear, I need these." I've just been like, yeah, people know, and then all the views start going down. YouTube changes everything, and I'm like, okay, people don't know. Please help, do it.
Yeah, so I guess we can do our final. Right before we go, Lunchbox64 gave a $10 question. A year or so of watching Decker Shadow, and I'm still loving it. Thank you for all of your great content.
You are very much welcome, Lunchbox64. Thank you for your patronage.
All right, I guess we can start plugging or self-promoting our upcoming projects or what we're doing right now. So, Creepy, why don't you start us off?
I've got the Season 3 of Daria Days, the Daria retrospective coming up.
Nice. And you just posted a new gem video as well.
Sorry, I could not hear either of you because Decker started talking while you were talking.
Oh, I said
Gem.
You have new gem out.
Yeah, Gem, the latest Gem retrospective review that came out today. That actually, well, it came out early in the wee hours of the morning because getting that to upload was just a pain. That was another thing. I kept losing the connection while I was trying to upload it, so I kept having to re-upload it. Fortunately, it did pick up where it left off. Otherwise, it may not have even been up today. But yeah, that got up. Finally got up. So next, Daria.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Decker?
Okay. There's tonight. I still might be. Finally, with Poseidon Rex done. That's actually the end of all of the reviews that were planned for 2017. That's the end of season 6 right there. Now, on to April, we can start season 7.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yay!
And there's a lot of movies that are much more high profile. Big requests for a while. The first 5 that got lined up. Hoping if it's not too late to maybe get Creepy to help write the whole thing for me. I don't know if he's got the time.
What am I getting paid for to do that?
Hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams.
That's what AdSense has been given lately.
Yes.
But yeah, the lots of really ones that I've been wanting to get to, ones that everyone's been begging me to do for way too long, and I've been like, I'll get to it maybe eventually.
Right.
But also on the gaming channel, got possibly another stream tonight. I'm thinking, at least to start, I might stream some Wipeout VR, Wipeout Omega Collection VR, because I got it. It's a hot new VR title, and I don't know if I'll be doing something else because it's a lot of speed and shaking and jumping up and down, and I might get a little sick. VR has a tendency to make people feel a little sick, and going has a tendency to make people feel a little sick. Usually I stream for 2 hours, and I'm not sure if I can handle that. So might be streaming a little something else while shortly after that. I got the Elgato. I was trying to figure out how to get things working with that. I don't have everything quite set up well, but I did figure out some ways to get it to work better with the Surface. So the big failure I had trying to stream Terra shouldn't happen again. And I don't mean my cat. I mean the game, Terra.
Okay. The only thing I have is that I recently did a Q&A based off of my audio play that I did for Manic Expression called Reflection. And basically, I had a lot of the cast members in it, and we answered questions regarding about how I came up with the play and what the characters are based off of. Creepy did the announcements. There's you can go listen to that for the first couple of seconds. Other than that, let's see. I'm editing the last episode of War in Between, and then afterwards, I'm finally free to actually do videos because I haven't done it in 3 months, almost 4 now. I haven't done. So I did a Kwanzaa video, and now I'm way behind on my content. So.
Oh.
I know I have a lot of catching up to do, but
But
yeah,
you still
episode of Pixmix is coming out soon. I don't know what Pixar movie we're talking about for that installment. And yeah, only 3 more months till The Incredibles 2, so yay.
Yay!
Okay.
Nerdbane's still watching, and I wanted to mention real quick that I've been working with them. Well, I haven't been working with them. I've been asking them, and they've been working with themselves to do a little new channel art. Because my years-old little scribble that I did way back when, it's a bit old. It doesn't exactly look like me anymore, even. So they're an artist. They do nice stuff. You probably shouldn't look at most of the stuff they do if you're under 18, but
okay.
The point is, they're a good artist. So hoping that we get that going, because if we hit the 100,000 subscribers, that's the art that's going to go on the little silver play button that I may or may not get.
Yeah, awesome. That's right. No play button for you.
Yeah, don't know. It's up in the air.
All right. Speaking of which, that was another thing I didn't even cover with YouTube news, that they're designing the new play buttons now. They're making it look nice and shiny and different, but there's no guarantee that you'll actually get it, so whatever.
Oh, great. I've been drooling over the play button forever, and now there's going to be a different one. It's going to show up, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to be like, what the hell is this?
Right. Oops.
So, thank you all for watching. I have been Decker Shado.
I've been that long-haired creepy guy.
And I've been Patricia Miranda.
And this has been Live and Wired. And I still can't remember the send-off line. So, I'll just steal creepies. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.